Tell me why I so need a cute girl my age. Tell me why I ain't ever wanna hear you say I have a boyfriend.
Involuntary celibates, more commonly known as incels, are people, typically men, who are unable to find a romantic partner despite desiring one. While some believe this to be a rather recent phenomenon, incels have actually existed for a while. In fact, many of your favorite villains and anti-heroes are actually incels. So today, we're going to count down our top 10 favorite involuntary celibates in film and television. While we don't know if Thanos was truly an involuntary celibate, he certainly does live the life of one. Imagine spending your whole life trying to gather valuable collectibles you can barely afford. Imagine having no one care about or even comprehend your intellect. Imagine getting the shit beaten out of you by Chads, rich kids, and Stacy's on a regular basis, even though you did literally nothing wrong. Thanos might not be a literal involuntary celibate, but goddamn does he know the struggle of one. And for that, he deserves the number 10 spot on our list. Number 9. Perhaps no character in sitcom history has received more humiliation, ridicule, and shame than George Costanza. Throughout the entire show, we see Costanza getting mocked for his penis size, develop an addiction to masturbation, and attempt to date his own cousin. We even see him get cucked by his friend Chad Seinfeld in multiple episodes. And if you're still not convinced that he's an incel, look at who George is based off of. Co-creator Larry David. If that doesn't say to you virgin with rage, I don't think you know what a virgin with rage is. Number 8. Squidward is what happens when a doomer is forced to live in a society full of bloomers. Squidward is proof that no matter how genuinely talented you are, society will reject you for the happy-go-lucky Chad who is inferior in every way. Squidward is supposed to be the comic relief of the show. The only joke is that he's a social outcast and everybody thinks he's a loser. This is not funny. Apparently, SpongeBob thinks that it's funny to make light of one of the most oppressed groups in America. Squidward is not only an incel, but he's also an unappreciated artist, a Van Gogh of his generation. Those who mock Squidward now will weep and wear merchandise after he passes. Those who laugh at Squidward's failure will be the victim to when a tormented squid strikes. And let's just say he won't be spraying ink into the crowd. Number 7. Mark Zuckerberg from the social network is without a doubt an involuntary celibate. A loner prior to the creation of Facebook, the film begins with him being rejected by a girl. And is there anything more incel than creating a website which boils women down to their appearance in response? By the end of the film, we see that in spite of all of Zuckerberg's success, he is still obsessing over Stacy, who is now on the very same platform that he created. It states a dark message about the intellectual incels. It implies that despite incels having an average higher IQ, they will still be obsessed with women, which hopefully isn't true. Now before we finish this entry, we have to get something out of the way. When we say Mark Zuckerberg is an involuntary celibate, we are only referring to the film version of him, as portrayed in David Fincher's The Social Network. In reality, Mark Zuckerberg is happily married with his Asian wife, making it unlikely for him to actually be an incel. Number 6. Stephen Merchant is a writer, actor, and director best known for his collaborations with both Carl Pilkington and Ricky Gervais. Standing at a whopping 6 feet and 7 inches tall, he is known for his unusual appearance and massive bulging eyes. Stephen is living proof that the difference between a Chad and an incel is merely a single foot of bone. His strange appearance has led him to face much harassment in the street, in spite of his popularity. It's said that people often stare at him, although it is a stare of fear rather than recognition. In the UK version of The Office, Steven appears only in one episode, in which his most notable contribution was being called a lanky, goggle-eyed freak.
Ourselves a big, lanky, goggle-eyed freak.
All right, calm down, mate. There's no need to get offensive.
No.
But of course, the biggest requirement for being on this list is not being ugly, but to be a virgin with rage. Thankfully, Steven fulfills this requirement, and then some. In his manifesto, he writes that at the age of 16, he borrowed his parents' Volvo to go to a party. During the party, his friends suggested that they leave to pick up Vera, a Vietnamese pot-bellied pig. He agreed, but only because a girl he liked was coming along. Unfortunately, a Chad, whom the Stacy had interest in, also joined them. They directed Steve to a field and grabbed Vera, which he allowed to be put in the car. On the way back, however, he accidentally wedged the Volvo horizontally in a county lane. Steven began to panic, and then cried. The situation was eventually resolved when Chad got into the driver's seat and freed his car. This left Steven both tear-soaked and emasculated. Number 4.
You are animals,
They're like animals,
and I will slaughter you like animals.
and I slaughtered them like animals.
And I hate you.
I hate them.
Number 3. Surprising as it may be, at one point the hero Spider-Man was actually considered an incel. Prior to the spider incident, he spent his days in his bedroom with only his thoughts to keep him company. During this time, the lonely high school student Peter would obsess over the many days that he was ignored and rejected by women at school. He would walk the halls every day as women passed him by without ever saying a word to him. Watching Flash take the girl of his dreams away while he was forced to sit and watch was painful. How could she love this literal subhuman but not him? He was the top student in every class. Flash literally just rolled around in his own shit all day. And this is who she picked? This only increased his internal rage for women, so he began to plan something. On October 17th, 2002, Peter attempted a school field trip to Oscorp Laboratories and brought with him a double-barrel Savage 311D sawed-off shotgun. As he was taking photos of the one he once loved, a radioactive spider found its way down to his hand and bit him. This vile creature destroyed Peter's plan and converted him from an incel into a Chad. Unfortunately, we can no longer call the current version of Peter an incel, and it was all because of that stupid spider. Number 2. Ralph Sepe Jr. is a writer, producer, and actor originating from Long Island, New York. A self-professed virgin with rage. While he is an award-winning director, he is most well known for his online videos in which he vows to punish women for denying him sex. This rage often does boil into his films, however, such as the violent gang rape in his latest film Lover. In his latest YouTube video, titled Retribution, Ralph Recommends, he complains about being rejected by women while envying sexually active men, and describes his ideal hypothetical male-dominated world. In every sense of the definition of the word, Ralph Sepe Jr. is an involuntary celibate. Number 1. You.